Hi, I'm Mercedes and thanks for joining me again today for another recycling project. Well, on today's project, we're actually going to take our tie-dye scraps and we're going to recycle them into a tie-dye quilted backpack. So let's get started. Well, we're actually going to do our paper pattern first. And what I'm going to ask you to do is actually to measure 20.5 inches from side to side and 14.5 inches from top to bottom. This is very easy. You're actually going to get a rectangle paper pattern. Now, in case you don't have any pattern paper at home, that's okay. You can definitely recycle some of that old gift wrapping paper, some tissue paper, or even some of those grocery bags will do. So once you have this cut out, the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is that we're actually going to notch our paper pattern. And before that, what I'm going to need you to do is measure 1 inch from this point down to this midsection. And why is that? Because once we notch our pattern, it's actually going to guide us as a tunnel for our drawstring once we start constructing our backpack. Now, if you don't have this notch tool, that's okay. You can actually take your paper scissors or any scissors that you have at home, and after you have marked it, you're going to put this on the fold, and you're going to take your scissor and you're just going to cut a small diagonal shape, and I'm actually doing a little bit larger so I can actually show you on camera. And what that's going to do, and I'm hoping that you can see it, is that it's going to serve us as the guide and also as the reminder as we go along with our construction. Well, we're almost done. So I'm going to put this to the side. Next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to do our paper pattern for our box square. Now, I decided to do a box square that's 4.5 inches in length and 4.5 inches in width. You can actually design whatever it is that you like. Remember, you're the star of your show and I am just here as the guide. Use your creativity and all that beautiful, unique talent that you have within you when you're actually creating this brand new backpack for yourself. Now, you're actually going to be cutting 15 squares. With the panel that we just finished doing, you're going to have to decide at some point if you are going to do a soft backpack like the way that I did it, which we are not going to be lining, or if you are going to be needing it for something a little bit more sturdy, like let's say putting in some heavy books, then I would strongly suggest to definitely line your backpack. But again, that's later on when we actually construct it. Okay, so for our last pattern, we're actually going to do our drawstring. Now, your drawstring is going to measure 24 inches from side to side and 1.5 inches in width. Now, if you're an expert cutter, then it's okay to actually put this pattern on the fold, and you're going to end up with 2 drawstring patterns, and both of them will be at 48 inches in length. If you're a little bit challenged the way that I am when it comes to cutting, then don't be afraid. You can actually cut 4 pieces of fabric that are 24 inches, and I'm hoping that you can actually see this. I really love to do mix and match seams in all of my design work. But again, this is for your individual style. And if you do not have a lot of fabric scraps in your tie-dye available, again, this would be a great time to just mix and match seams and mix and match a lot of different colors while you're mapping out your quilt. Now, before we end this segment, I also did a small paper pattern that measures 1.5 by 1.5 inches in width and length. I've always loved to do these mini quilt box squares, and what I end up doing that when I map out my quilt, I actually want to use that square to feature it in my front panel. But again, it's your design. This is just as a guide. Well, if you've missed any of our specs today, I hope that you visit us at www.m721organics.com, and please feel free to look at the home page. We actually have a big box there now that's full of a lot of free downloads for paper patterns and different crafting ideas. Well, in case you don't join us in our next segment where we're actually going to construct this backpack, please remember to recycle, please remember to recreate, and please remember to reinvent you, because you're worth it. Thanks again, and I truly hope to see you again very soon. Take care.